All right, guys, good Friday morning. A fun hand popped up on Tuesday night. It was board 9 at the RBC, and it's got a bunch of talking points. So we're going to make that a hand we focus on today. This video is going to be all about that hand, and perhaps this can kick off maybe a series of videos where we just do a hand of the week. Okay, so some other things I'm going to try and show you today are a few resources, both online and one actual physical resource that I have on my bookshelf that weighs about 5 pounds. So we'll get into that. As I told you, it's hand 9 from Tuesday night. So let's get into the action. First of all, let's look at the score slip for hand 9. So you'll see that it was a hand where some pairs were in 6 no trump east west, making 6. That was about half the field. So let's be more precise than that. There were 14 people that played this hand, and exactly half of them, 7, were in 6 no trump, making 12 tricks, and that scored 77%. There was a couple of pairs that stopped short of the slam. They were in 3 no trump or 4 no trump. There was one pair that was in 4 spades. Like, if you look at enough score sheets, you'll come to realize that like 10% of the results are just these like random weird mistake contracts, which is another reason why like we play pretty conservatively and we play to protect the plus, because usually you can get an above average score just by doing the normal thing and taking the normal amount of tricks. Okay, and the flip side of that is if you find yourself in a session where you're on defense and the opponents just kind of keep on piling up 110s and 140s and like nothing's really happening, that's usually not good for you, and it's sort of just the rub of the green. And then you'll see that we have some 6 no trumps that went down. So let's talk about this hand. Like I said, there's a couple of different aspects to it. The first aspect is what you should do with the west hand after East shows 15 to 17 balanced. Okay, and let's at this point, let's go ahead and throw this up to a teaching table. So I'll show you what I've done. I went over to my account, and under folder, I hit this plus sign up here and created a folder called board 9 squeeze. And then I went back to the hand history. And if you click on your options, you can export the deal, save deal as, and then you just select your board 9 squeeze folder, and it's put away there. Why we're doing that is now we can go to start a teaching table. I'm going to, again, turn off the kibitzers just because I don't want to get bothered potentially. Turn on the permissions. We're going to start the table. And we're going to maximize the table. Let's sit at all these seats. And then we're going to go to this options and our deal source. Use save deals, board 9 squeeze, select. And then when we hit redeal, this ought to pop up. Okay, great. So here's the hand in question. So like a normal auction is going to go pass, and East is going to open 15 to 17, no trump. Yep. A balanced hand, you have 15 points, just no brainer, 1 no trump. If you go back and look through the field, there were actually a lot of pairs employing weak no trump east west. So the way they're going to show 15 to 17 balanced is to open a diamond and then rebid 1 no trump. But regardless of how you do it, at some point in this auction, most of the wests are going to know that their partner has 15 to 17 balanced, and it's going to be up to them to decide where to place the contract. So what's happened in this auction is, and one thing that might be helpful for you to think of in different types of auctions is if one of the partners is the captain. Okay, and one of the main places we can establish captaincy in an auction is when one of the partners has shown a balanced hand with a specific number, a specific range of high card points. So the second the East opens 1 no trump here, West is the captain. Regardless of how many points the no trump opening shows, that hand is the defined hand and West is going to be doing the driving, asking the questions, doing the transferring, offering the choice of games, that sort of thing. West is clearly the captain on this auction. With all that said, West has 17 balanced. And it's a downgrade that you're 4-3-3. Okay, you would much rather be something like 5-3-3-2 or even 4-4-3-2. It's an upgrade that you have 3 10s and 9s. Okay, your fair share would be 2, right? Because your fair share of any rank of card is one of them, since there are 4 in the deck and there's 4 players. I will tell you that I sat West. I felt like I had a pretty strong partner who was going to be declaring the hand. I knew that we could theoretically be off the ace king of clubs, I guess, if partner had exactly 15 and they just happened to work out to cash the ace king of clubs at tricks 1 and 2. I liked the 10s and the 9s. I didn't like the flat shape. We talked about that. I thought it was close between 2 options. You could either bid 4 no trump, and that's what's called the quantitative 4 no trump, and it just asks partner to either pass with a minimum or bid 6 no trump with a maximum. Okay, so I guess I would think of it as you're asking him to imagine his entire range of 1 no trump openings and pass with the weakest half of those and accept the invite by bidding 6 no with the strongest half of those. And if we look at the East hand, like had West issued an invite here, East would decline, okay, because you have 15 and you have, no 5 card suit. There would be no reason to accept with this East hand. So if West chooses to bid 4 no trump, that's going to become the final contract. I went, slightly more aggressive here and just insisted on the slam. I just bid 6 no trump. So one of the cool things about playing online that I've mentioned before is that you have you have the resource of a lot of strong players sitting in your direction. So at the end of the night, when you have a hand that comes up like this, you can actually go back and review what their auctions were, okay, and see what choices they made and how they compared to the choices that you made. So here's some of the data from this. And again, there were some weak no trumpers. So a couple of the times the auction didn't literally start 1 no, but it was an auction type that gave the same information. Okay, so 8 of the 11 times that this type of auction happened, the West hand just bid 6 no trump. Okay, and 2 of the 11 times the West hand offered an invite with 4 no trump, and East declined. And 1 time West used Gerber. Let's talk about that for a second. Gerber's not really going to solve any of your problems here. In fact, I would be thinking of, like, the only times I would be using Gerber is to make sure that I'm not off 2 aces. So something that would be Gerber appropriate would be, say you have 17 points, but you're not looking at 3 aces. Okay, you've got 17 points and only 2 aces. And your partner opens 1 no, and you kind of want to just bid 6 no trump, but you realize it's just barely possible that we're missing exactly 8 points, which are 2 aces. That's when Gerber would be appropriate. You bid 4 clubs just to make sure that you're not off 2 aces before you bid 6 no trump, okay? If you're looking at 3 aces, Gerber doesn't help because, like, it's not the question you need to ask, right? If partner shows up with 0 aces, is that really the information you need? No, because you're happy to be in 6 no trump when the partnership is missing the ace of clubs, especially if partner's got more like 17. Okay, so when you're looking at 3 aces, the appropriate question, if any, is partner, do you like your hand? Okay, it's not partner, how many aces do you have? Okay, because we're either going to learn that the partnership has 3 or 4 aces, and then we're right back in the same spot that we were with having used a bid that ate 3 levels of bidding space and didn't give us an answer that we needed. Okay, so no Gerber on this hand. That did happen once. I asked Collins Williams to deal 1,000 15 to 17 no trumps that East could have, match them with the West hand, and then perform a double dummy for each of those hands to see how many tricks this West hand is likely to produce opposite 15 to 17 balance. I was actually a little surprised at the results here. 6 no trump made more often than I expected it would. 6 no trump either made 6 or 7 on 81% of the deals. Okay, so the number being that high probably is a little bit of a justification for actually just bidding 6 no with this hand. But again, I think it's close between issuing an invite with 4 no or just blasting 6 no. Just giving you the stats that 81% of the time, if you're holding this West hand and your partner has 15 to 17 balanced, it's going to take at least 12 tricks. And there's a couple of detailed criticisms or points you could make about the problem with that type of analysis, right? Because like double dummy analysis assumes that everyone plays perfectly, and that's not exactly what happens in the real world. But anyway, it's the closest proxy that we've got. Okay, so often he will run his program for a situation like this, then kind of do a sanity check, like, you know, how often is 6 no trump going to make here? Anyway, 81% of the time, I was surprised it was that high. So that answers all the auction stuff on this one. And again, I'm fine if you bid 4 no quantitative and East passes. I'm fine if you just blast 6 no. It's really close. Don't use Gerber. Gerber doesn't solve anything. So for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and bid 6 no trump here. And another quick pointer here. Let's say you're in 4 no trump. Okay, let's say the auction goes 1 no, 4 no, pass. You can't ease up at 10 tricks. Like, in other words, you're going to play 4 no trump, a contract of 4 no trump, kind of the same way you're going to play a contract of 6 no trump. Okay, like you might do a couple of things to make sure that you make 6 no trump that you wouldn't do in 4 no trump, but keep in mind that in normal auctions, usually your goal is to take the most amount of tricks that are reasonable, sort of regardless of what the level of the contract is. Anyway, if you're in 4 no trump here, don't be satisfied with 10 tricks. Be looking for an 11th trick or a 12th trick or even a 13th trick. All right. Every single South led the Queen of Spades. Okay, so it should be pretty self-evident that the Queen of Spades is the lead here. Every once in a while, I will see someone lead 4th best, like the 8 in this situation. Do not do that with touching, one gap, next card. Just lead the top of the sequence. Okay, and everyone did this, so no one needs that lecture. At least not on this particular hand, they didn't. Okay, so let's think about this now from East's perspective. And guys, the people that went down in 6 no trump made the same exact mistake. So it's very avoidable. Let's talk about a process for how we're going to declare a no trump contract here. And this one is 6 no trump, but it might as well be 3 no trump or 4 no trump. We're going to count our tricks. We've got to do that to make an informed decision about any bridge hand you play. Okay, so we're going to start with the sure tricks. We've got 2 spades. We have 3 hearts. We have 3 clubs. And we have 2 diamonds. 2, 3, 3, 2. That adds up to 10 for me. And then we start looking around at places that might provide an extra trick. Okay, so for instance, one place that's sure not going to produce an extra trick is the heart suit. The heart suit is 3 tricks all day long. It doesn't matter if my dog plays the hand. It's 3 tricks, no more, no less. The club suit will produce a 4th trick if what? Well, if the clubs break 3-3. Okay, so there's one possibility of an 11th trick. The diamond suit will often produce an extra trick. So it could produce an extra trick if the suit broke 3-3, or if you played the ace king off and the queen or the jack fell, or both on a super lucky day. That would give you 4 diamond tricks. So also in the diamond suit, you could choose to take a finesse towards the 10, like lead the 2 to the 10. You could also, I suppose, lead the 7 to the 9, although that's not quite as fluid. But there are possibilities in the diamond suit. All right. And the third possibility, which is actually going to happen on this hand, is a squeeze. And for the squeeze to work, you don't even really have to worry about exactly what's going on. You just need to get to a point where you've got 11 tricks and they've got 1. Okay, so the formula is we've got the rest of the tricks we need minus 1. Okay, so like we're in a situation where there's 11 tricks left and we've got 10 of them. Or we're in a situation where there's 5 tricks left and we've got 4 of them. It should be your goal in these situations where you've got 10 tricks or 11 tricks to lose a trick kind of early in the play, and then the squeeze develops later on. Okay. So thinking about this diamond suit for a second, I actually went to the bookshelf. This is a resource that I'm going to show you, and grabbed my Clayton Kershaw, get out of the way, Encyclopedia of Bridge. And one of the cool things that is in here is I can actually, there's a chapter on suit combinations. I can actually look up a table of Declare has 7 cards. The defense has 3 high card points, which they do here. They have the Queen Jack of Diamonds. Look for the layout of Ace 10X opposite King 9 4th, and it will tell me what the optimal playing sequence is, both for maximum number of tricks and for like the best overall weighted average of tricks, I suppose you would say. So for instance, in this encyclopedia, it's going to tell you that the way to play the diamond suit for 4 tricks, and the only way, is to play off the ace king and hope that somebody has Queen Jack Doubleton. That's the only way you'll ever get 4 tricks out of this suit. It turns out that the best way to play the suit for the maximum, like over the course of everything, what's going to lead to the best number of tricks, it turns out the actual best play is low to the 10 here. Okay, so that would be taking advantage of any time that South had both the queen and the jack. All right, it would also potentially pick up Jack X or Queen X with South, and it still doesn't give up on the 3-3 breaks. Okay, so low to the 10 is actually your highest percentage play here. That happened a handful of times that people played 6-0 and made it. And the other option that happened a handful of times was people played off ace king and then a 3rd diamond. So what that they would be banking on is either the queen or the jack falling doubleton or the suit breaking 3-3. So they were very strong players who chose both options. They're close. There might have been other factors that I don't know about. When things are mathematically close, it doesn't take a whole lot of information to sway which way you choose to play a suit if there's 2 reasonable ways. Like, for instance, North opened a weak 2 hearts at one table that they declared 6-0 eventually. And at that point, like, perhaps it's more likely that South has the Queen Jack of Diamonds, and it makes a play like low to the 10 of diamonds even more attractive. Anyway, I feel like I've spent already way too much time on this diamond suit for our purposes here. Let's stick to basics here. If we can get 3 diamond tricks and in the process lose 1 to go with our 3 clubs and our 3 hearts and our 2 spades, we're going to be up to 11. They're going to have 1. Like, they're going to have the diamond trick that we gave them to establish our 3rd diamond trick. And then in the end, perhaps the clubs will break 3-3, or there will be a spade club squeeze, which is actually what happens on this hand. Even more generally, you want to lose your tricks early in the play. there's almost no way that we've got all 13 tricks here. It would require the queen jack of diamonds to be doubleton, and then the clubs to either be 3-3 or club spade squeeze. So what we're going to try and focus on is set up our third diamond trick, lose a trick in the process, and then see what happens. Okay, so let's play it all the way through here. Again, this is the correct way to play 6-note trump. And again, like I say, like in a vacuum, I think technically the right play in diamonds is low to the 10, but it's close, and we're just going to power out the diamonds. So we're going to play ace king, hoping the queen or the jack falls, and then a third diamond, hoping that the suit at that point breaks 3-3. The ace doesn't catch anything interesting, and the 7 doesn't catch anything interesting. And at this point, we just kind of got to cross our fingers and pray that the diamonds are 3-3. And they turn out to be. Okay, so that's good. And there's, South's just going to return the jack of spades. So this would be a good time in the hand to pause. Okay, you've gotten over the first hurdle, the first two hurdles. You've established a diamond trick for yourself, and you've lost a trick. So our trick count says that we've got 3. We have the king of spades for 4, 3 hearts is 7, the ace king queen of clubs is 10, and the 9 of diamonds is 11. We have 11 tricks. They have 1. There's 13 tricks available on a bridge deal. We're in the magic situation here, okay? And if there's a squeeze, our threats, the tricks or the cards that might grow into tricks, are a small club in the east hand and the 9 of spades in the dummy. At this point, you don't need to know anything about squeezes. The only thing you are going to do is watch out for the 10 of spades. If we see the 10 of spades discarded, the 9 of spades becomes our 12th trick. If we don't see the 10 of spades, we're going to try to run the club suit and see what happens. Okay, so here, this is all we do. We just cash our tricks. And when we cash the 9 of diamonds, by the way, 9 of diamonds nickname is the Curse of Scotland. There's some various theories on why it's that called that way. I'll let you navigate to Wikipedia on your own if you're really that interested. The 9 of diamonds squeezes south. There's no answer for south. Okay, if she pitches the 10 of spades, the 9 of spades is a trick. If she pitches a club, the 4th club in east hand grows up. Okay. Now, east declaring the hand can't actually see what's going on. So here's how I want you to think of it. I'm looking out for the 10 of spades. I've lost my trick early. I got to the point where I had all the rest of the tricks but one. I realized that this is as simple as watching for the 10 of spades. If I don't see it, then it's time for the shrug, try to run the clubs play. Okay, so let's say that she doesn't make your life easy. She pitches a club. And North's hand is just completely immaterial here. Play a club to the dummy. Still haven't seen the 10 of spades, so it's time. We just run the clubs. And the 5 of clubs grows into a trick in the end. And this is basically how all the strong players played the hand. Okay, there was a little bit of variance in how they played the diamond suit, but the main takeaway here, declaring this hand, and this is going to get you a better score, and regardless of whether you're in 4-0 or 6-0, you got to lose your tricks early. All the people that went down in 6-0 cashed the ace, king, queen of clubs early. That doesn't do anything except set up a club winner for South that she can cash when she gets in with the diamonds. Okay, we're trying to lose the tricks that we have to lose early and then win all the tricks at the end. Okay, that's your formula. You got to count tricks, to know how many you can lose and how many the opponents are entitled to, right? Know what our target is. Our target on this is 12. Our another one of our goals is set up an extra diamond trick. We can kill two birds with one stone by playing 3 rounds of diamonds. That establishes a diamond trick for us and loses one that does what's called rectifying the count for a squeeze. Anyway, keep these two things in mind. You can't make it through a video with me without hearing count your tricks. That's one. And then 2 is, if we've got tricks to lose, for sure, lose them early in the play. The squeeze doesn't work if we haven't lost a trick to South earlier on. Okay, so that's the hand of the week for whatever this is, the 3rd week of October. Super hyped up because the Braves beat the Dodgers last night, even though the Dodgers were like minus 220 on the money line. It was a huge, huge performance by Bryce Wilson. I couldn't be more excited right now with the Braves 1 game away from the World Series. Hopefully, I won't be making a video next week that's like, oh, how did they lose 3 in a row to the Dodgers? Anyway, hope there's some good stuff here that you can get an edge from. I think the main thing is in the play. The auction was kind of interesting. The diamond suit's kind of interesting, but the amount of people who cash the clubs here just made me have to do a video on how you want to tackle the declare play on this hand. Anyway, that's it for this video. And actually, I am going to got a lot of positive feedback on the robot race. So we are going to try another 18-board robot race with commentary and a goal of get 60% and do the video in 30 minutes or less. Okay, so hope you enjoy this one and check out that one, which I will begin producing as soon as I click end on this one. All right, guys, have a great weekend.